What's going on, everyone? This is Matt Kowalis from SportsMemo and WagerTalk, back with the Thursday Night Football Best Bet. Last week, we had the Detroit Lions. Once again, we went 2-1 in that video. The Detroit Lions have been very good to us on Thursday Night Football. And now we are going to another division rival in the Chicago Bears. In this matchup, the Chicago Bears are going to be traveling on the road to face off against the Washington Commanders. And for this game, we currently have a -6 spread for the Commanders, a 44.5-point total. And in terms of the handle, 81% of the money is currently on the Washington Commanders, with obviously 19% going on the Chicago Bears. In this spot, the Chicago Bears are coming off a loss at home to the Denver Broncos, in which they lost 31-28, but actually lost in embarrassing fashion because they were up 28-7 at one point in that game. And then the Denver Broncos came back and beat the Chicago Bears outright. As for the Washington Commanders lost in overtime against the Philadelphia Eagles, 34-31. In a game where, in my personal opinion, the Washington Commanders should have went after the two-point conversion. Ron Rivera got a little nervous, went into overtime with a far superior team, and ended up losing that game. Now, in this matchup, it's going to sound a little crazy, but throughout this season so far, the favorite has been absolutely smashing. The chalk has just been smashing. At some point, this is going to even out. When you see an 81% handle on one team, I tend to go the opposite way. And in this matchup, I am going to do just that. And I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears with the +6. And this also might be a spread that you want to wait a little bit on to see if it does climb. If it doesn't, if the handle keeps going to the Commanders and the spread comes down or remains the same, it might mean that Vegas is also taking a look at the Chicago Bears. So for me, it's going to be with that +6, but I am going to remain patient leading into kickoff to see if I can get a half point, get a full point, something along those lines. Because in their last matchup against the Denver Broncos, and I understand that defense is absolutely brutal, I think the Bears did find something, and they were a little more aggressive. I think they're going to be that way going forward. I think Khalil Herbert was very successful as a running back. And, this Washington Commanders team, not that great defensively. Coming into the season, they were supposed to be a good defensive team. Hasn't been that. In 3 of their 4 matchups, they put the opposing team has scored at least 30 points on the Commanders. I think they can get the Bears going a little bit more here and stay within that 6, or hopefully maybe it gets to 7, something along those lines, gets within that range. So for me, it's going to be the Chicago Bears +6 in this spot. Moving on to a player prop, and the only guy I can really look at here is going to be Brian Robinson Jr. Okay, Robinson Jr. has been the workhorse for the Washington Commanders up to this point in time. You're going against the Chicago Bears team who also does struggle in terms of defending the run. They are 18th throughout the NFL in terms of rushing yards given up per game, and that is 115.5 rushing yards. Okay, as for Brian Robinson Jr., you have Antonio Gibson backing him up. But throughout this season, Robinson Jr. has an 80% carry rate for above for the Washington Commanders, meaning he's getting the ball almost every single time if they are handing the ball off. And, I think that's who they're going to look to in this spot to control or attempt to control the flow of this game. When you get Robinson Jr. going, you also get that play action game going. On top of that, he's hit this number in 2 of 4 matchups so far this season, and has also hit against a team like the Buffalo Bills, who are one of the better rushing defenses throughout the entire NFL. So for me, I think this is the play that I will be looking at in this spot. Also, like the other side with Justin Fields and his rushing yards, I think Fields is really going to have to take the load in this game and going forward. And if you remember with Justin Fields, he really didn't get going until mid-season last year. So I like both those spots, but Brian Robinson Jr., especially with this over 63.5 rushing yards here. You got to remember, with player props, a lot less money can move that number. So I do think this is going to climb as time goes on. So for this one, it's Brian Robinson Jr. over 63.5. Then lastly, you got to remember, we do a spread bet, we do a player prop, and we do an anytime TD score. And with the anytime TD score, I kind of gave a little foreshadow in the player prop. We're going to be going with Justin Fields anytime touchdown +155 in this spot. And kind of going back to what I said before, it took a little while for Justin Fields to get going last year. He really kind of hit stride around mid-season. And this could happen again. Obviously, I don't think the Bears are going to be beating anyone. I'd be surprised if they actually beat the Commanders here. I just kind of think they can stay within that 6. But, Fields is really going to going to have to take the team and put him on his back here. He's going to have to start rushing the football a little more. They're going to be opening up the offense more too, which I think means more passing. And also, this is a Chicago Bears team who doesn't really have a red zone running back. They really haven't been using Deonta Foreman. Khalil Herbert, not really like that. Roschon Johnson, not really like that. So we could see some QB powers, some rollouts where Justin Fields can potentially get the edge, hit that pylon, something along those lines. Justin Fields only has 1 touchdown through 4 games. He finished with 8 last year. So again, kind of confirming my midseason stride thing. I think he's going to get going a little bit more. And you take a look at the Washington Commanders and some of the quarterbacks they face. Russell Wilson, 6 carries, 56 yards. Josh Allen, 3 carries, 46 yards and a touchdown. Last week, Jalen Hurts, 9 carries, 36 yards. So again, they're giving up some yards on the ground to the quarterback. This Commanders team could be a little cocky after last week and how they played the Eagles, now kind of going down to the Chicago Bears. So I think Justin Fields could have a good game, get some rushing yards, and get in the end zone with it. It's a plus 150 price tag, so pretty good odds there. So that would be my last play of the day. And to kind of go over everything one more time, spread pick is going to be the Chicago Bears plus 6. Player prop is going to be Brian Robinson Jr. over 63.5 rushing yards. And lastly, our anytime touchdown score is going to be Justin Fields plus 150. So, all right, guys, Matt Kowalis, as always, I will be on X's and Bros Radio Friday morning to talk about the NFL Sunday slate. Check me out there, 1500 a.m. here in Detroit, Michigan. And again, guys, let's build off that Detroit Lions Thursday Night Football 2-1 and keep these wins going. Again, I am Matt Kowalis. Check me out at MoneylineMatt8 over on Twitter, and I am out. Peace out, y'all.